Hey, y'all, it has been a minute, but here we are again. I am Latoya J. I am coming back with another mini series. This is the journey of finding purpose, living in purpose, operating in purpose, all of those things connected. It has definitely been a journey so far, and I want to bring you on with me. So stay tuned because I have a story to tell. I just want to let you know that if you are struggling with leaving something behind, leaving something that is familiar to you, and going into that unknown territory, I want you to stay tuned because I have something for you. This is going to be a personal story that I have experienced, and I want to share it with you in hopes that it can help bring you some comfort in what you have going on yourself. All right, so this whole video is pretty much, if I had to give it a title, it would be The Dream That Changed Everything. Okay, the call to leave. So, if you know my story, you know that I am the people pleaser. I am the perfectionist. I am the hyper independent person, abuse survivor, whether that was mental, physical, emotional, all of the things, right? And I took all of those things that I experienced, and I decided like I can't live in this space anymore. Like this is not for me. So, by trade, I am a physical therapist assistant. So, my job is pretty much to take those people that have experienced some type of traumatic situation, illness, injury, and I rehab them back to their most current, previous state, before they got injured, before something happened to them. I take them through a process, through a journey, and help them get on track to becoming their original self, if that makes sense. So, who would have thought that God would have saw fit to use my career journey and make that into like this lifetime journey of helping other people? Okay. But first, when you are called to do something, know that God is going to take you through it first. Okay. So here I am. This is like back in October 2023. Okay. And I'm a dreamer. I have a dream this night. And that particular dream, I was at work doing what I do best. Okay. And I'm at work and I'm going down the hallways, and literally the building changes. It goes from me being at work to this unfamiliar place. And I'm like, oh, like, OMG, what is this? I don't know what it's. So being in this transformative space in the dream, it's like, okay, God, you are literally showing me leaving my job. But where am I going? I have no idea. Um, so I can tell that in the dream, it was this hospital space. Okay. I was leaving my job, going into, it looked like maybe an operating room or an emergency room. However, it was like very high, chaotic, given hospital type vibes. So, if you've read my book, there is a chapter dedicated in that book to solely hiding behind work. And that chapter is basically talking about how I use work as my scapegoat. Like, yes, it was the career for me. Yes, I did all of the things, but I never dealt with any of my issues. I just overworked myself. I found the pride in doing the job. I did not handle myself mentally or emotionally with any of the problems I had going on. I just decided to work. I found validation in working because it was something that I was good at. And if I failed or, didn't live up to the standard of myself in other areas, I knew that work was the area that I can excel in. So wouldn't it be just like God to tell me, because this is an issue. It has to be an issue. Like, why are you using work as your crutch? Why are you using work as your validation? So yeah, the man was calling me from what was comfortable to me. He was calling me from a place that I was familiar with and taking me in a whole nother direction, which would have been in this dream, the hospital setting. I was completely unaware because, mind you, this book came out beforehand and it's made whole. Who would have thought that this whole journey, this spiritual journey that I've been on, being made whole, all of these things would have been impacting my career? It's like, yeah, you use this, but I want to do something different. Didn't even see that coming. So, the very thing that I do in my career, which is take people from a place of having to go through healing, having to go through this process, having to go through the exercises, the ups, the downs, the pain, because everybody knows in the physical therapy world, PT stands for pain and torture. That's what they say. But nevertheless, it's not easy. It's hard labor. It is intense. It is hurtful. But when you keep your eyes on the end goal, you know it's going to pay off at the end. And here it is, God using my own labor on myself. So, who has to go through the process of having a system? Who has to go through the process of going through these steps, the trials, the pain, the tribulations, all of those things? I truly do believe that that hospital setting, now looking back on it, in that dream, the hospital setting was for me to go through like another level of a healing journey, another level of like this deliverance, another level of surgery, not physical surgery, but that soul surgery. When you become established in God, there are certain things that God is going to pull you away from. There's going to be certain people, there's going to be certain situations, there are going to be certain ideas, even mentally. Thank you. Even mentally, there are some things that He has to extract from you, the things that you thought you needed, the things that you thought were normal, like all of what you thought was like a-okay and good and like this is who I am. God gonna be like, scratch that. We got to get rid of that. All right. You are probably going through like a surgical process in your own lives. Like, I feel like everything is being taken away from me. I feel like things are being pulled out. I'm just like, I'm having all of the emotions. Trust me, I understand. And it's going to get better. It's tough in now, but it's going to get better. So back to my job. Now, having the dream, having the vision of me leaving my job wasn't necessarily a big deal. Like, I'm okay with leaving this job. The problem was, what do you want me to do once I leave the job? And that was the part that God left off. Okay. Um, you want me to leave? Cool. What am I supposed to do in the meantime? Crickets, crickets, crickets. Like I say, all I've ever seen in the dream, and it was multiple dreams. Okay, so all I've ever seen was like going from this job to the hospital, going from this job to the hospital, and I'm like, I get it. Even after I quit the job, I still had another job. I mean, I still had another dream that when I so the last dream that I had was after I quit. And in the next dream, it was just like me walking from the parking lot or from me walking off of the street into the hospital. So I didn't even like transition from the job into the hospital space anymore. It was just me going straight into the hospital. The Lord was like, you going to get yourself together. There's another level that you have to reach. And in order to reach that level, you have to go through this process. So I'm like, cool, we're going through the process. However, God still did not give me all of the steps. So one thing that I have learned The lesson that I am sharing is that God is not going to give you every step there is to take. He's going to show you that one, and you're going to have the faith, and you're going to have to trust in Him enough to make that one step, and that everything is going to work out. I will say that after making that one step, I started, like I picked up PRN jobs to have some type of income coming in. But let's be honest, the checks wasn't checking like I was getting before. So it was like, oh, Father, like you told me to leave. You called me in this position. So I need you to come through for me. And let me tell you that God did that. Okay. I received unexpected checks in the mail. No lie. I had people to sow into me just for no reason. I like the small gestures of like, meet me for dinner, come by, I cooked. Just random cash apps would come. I would go to pay a bill and it would be like a negative such and such and such. Like I didn't even have to pay the bill that month because there was a negative, like it was already overpaid before. So I still had to use up that money. I'm telling you, there was so many moments where God dropped things and He placed people along my path to just be there for me on this journey. So all of this to say is take the first step. You're not going to know. And that's the whole point, because how would your faith be tested if you knew? How would He know that you trust Him if He gave you everything all up front? Make that first move, whatever that move is, no matter how scary it is, and watch how He opens doors. He's going to open so many doors that you're going to be like amazed. I'm going to be honest. I felt every emotion possible. Okay. Um, Fear, doubt, procrastination, all of the things. We're human. We're going to feel it. But there is this quote that I remember reading, and it was delayed, delayed, delayed obedience is still full disobedience, or procrastination is disobedience in slow motion. So, like, whether you're trying to take your time and I need another confirmation, I need another sign, I'm waiting for another. The procrastination and the delay that you are doing is still operating in disobedience. I know that's heavy. So we're going to ponder on that for a while. 3 scriptures I want to leave with you as I close out this video. Hebrew 11:1. Faith shows the reality of what we hope for. It is the evidence of things we cannot see. Evidence of things we cannot see. Because I didn't see what was after me leaving my job outside of the hospital scene, which I knew that was like doing the internal work, like what was necessary for me, like going through this surgery process, like really exercising and building myself up, gaining resistance, gaining endurance. All of those things took place. But so what else am I doing outside of that? Yeah, no, He didn't give me anything else. So evidence of things we cannot see. That is faith, Hebrew 11:1. There's another one, Hebrew 11:6. And it is impossible to please God without faith. Anyone who wants to come to Him must believe that God exists and that He rewards those who sincerely seek Him. The rewards came, the rewards will come when you keep Him in the forefront and you actively seek Him. That is how we get the answers. That is how we get the next step. Galatians 2:16. Yet we know that a person is made right with God by faith in Jesus Christ, not by obeying the law. And we have believed in Christ Jesus so that we might be made right with God because of our faith in Christ, not because we have obeyed the law. For no one will ever be made right with God by obeying the law. There's not enough works we can do. which is probably why he didn't even show me what was next. I'm just thinking about this. He didn't show me what was next because he knew I would go immediately into that. That's a whole nother, that's the next video, because I didn't see anything, I started creating my own thing. But like I said, that's the next video. So he's not going to give us everything because he doesn't necessarily want us to do it. It's not all about just doing and obeying, but we are made right by having faith in Jesus Christ. That was good to me. Galatians 2:16 is that. So the purpose, the lesson behind this video here is to say, take that faith action, make that faith move. God is going to see it to the end. I had the call to leave. I did, even though I procrastinated. I had my own, I made a whole mess because of my delayed obedience. To avoid the mess that I made, I'm coming to you right now saying, take the action. Whatever your call is, do that and watch God just create pathways for you. Watch him send people your way. Watch him do the impossible, the incredible, the unimaginable, and you be like, God, you be Godding. God. Thank you for joining me on this first video in this like mini series of a journey to purpose. If you're on a similar path, if your story is like, I'm being asked to do something and I don't feel like I'm ready, I don't have all of the answers, I think I'm supposed to be doing this thing, God is asking me to do this thing, I don't have everything. Listen, take the first step of faith. I promise you, it's what you have to do. Okay, so stay tuned for part 2 of this. It's going to be amazing. Again, thank you for watching this. Leave a comment, send a like, share it with someone, and let's just spread the faith.